So welcome at Galleria Illy, here in Berlin at KaDeWe. Galleria Illy is the Illy temporary space where you can enjoy the best of coffee culture, from the authentic Italian barista experience to the best quality and the discovering the best origins and growing countries in the world, to the expression of beauty through arts, design, as long as learning how to enjoy espresso and coffee through the lessons of the University of Coffee. Galleria Illy is a project which started in 2005 in New York with an outstanding success, and then went to Milan, and then to Trieste, and now Berlin, and 1 month from now it will go also in Istanbul. Don't miss it, come to Galleria Illy at KaDeWe until September 25.
The radical movement in Florence, in Tuscany, was kind of most important reaction to the hippie, to the Beatles, and to refusing the culture of the establishment. So obviously they all were funny communists, including Branzi, Natalini from Superstudio, who followed my degree, and the master of this group was Ettore Sottsass, living in Milano, working for Olivetti. He never accepted to teach, but he was a great teacher. What was my lesson from Tuscany? First of all, that architecture is gone and design is gone forever. We were absolutely convinced that the business we tried to learn was completely unnecessary. That's why the group is called the radical design, radical architecture. The utopia of architecture in the 70s was over, and we had to start from scratch. So in early 80s, we started a kind of revolution called Memphis. During the day, we worked on our business. We tried to find some money to survive. And during night, we worked on this kind of manifesto. It was a strong reaction against German design. It was a heavy reaction against the Ulm school. I still hate this school. I'm convinced that this school is the disaster after the great Bauhaus period. Ulm was the first global misunderstanding of form follows function. So the question is, what is better or what is worse? Is it the utopia from Italy, or is it the utopia from form follows function, which was fiction? That's why we call the form follows function Bauhaus misunderstanding, form follows fiction, and form follows nothing, or form follows form. First PC was designed by Sottsass together with Adriano Olivetti, and lifelong fights happened in Ivrea, where the company was based, because the engineer said, I tell you how it looks like, and then you give me the shape, like carrozzeria design, like shaping over the body of a car. The engine is done, everything is done, and then you please give me the shape in the last 5 minutes. This is exactly the opposite of what should happen. Long-lasting, sustainable, no design. What means no design? No design, normally we call it zero design, is shaping a product in a way that you cannot recognize who is the designer, when was it designed, and under what circumstance. This product is designed in 91, but could be 1 year ago, and maybe in 10 years will be as out of time as it's now. No design is my approach to design. You as an architect, as a teacher, you understand, but if you go outside and explain no design, they say, okay, what does it mean? No design, it is not designed? What means zero design? I think this is a kind of crucial question. What I learned from Ettore Sottsass. Ettore was, first of all, he refused to use the word design, which is perfectly right. He is an architect, and lifelong he designed as an architect, and as an architect he tried to reduce to maximum simplicity. This is the great lesson from Mr. Sottsass, reduce to the max. Everybody can design such a simple shape, but the quality of espresso coming out from this cup, if you cut it in the middle, you understand what is the message of Mr. Illy. In the lower part, you keep it very, very hot, because the cross-section on the top for the lips is acceptable for the diameter drink. In the lower part is more or less double, and that's why you have a thermocoppia. Thermocoppia means you keep it hot for this 1 to 2 minutes during drinking or waiting before you drink. The complexity of this cross-section now was copied in the last 20 years by, you name it, from Lavazza to Rosenthal to many, many, many companies. We could have a lawyer non-stop because this cup is probably the most copied design item. Why? Because it's a true no design.
Negli anni 90 l'azienda ha iniziato a guardare un po' oltre a quello che è il puro prodotto espresso, prodotto caffè, perché diciamo che gli standard qualitativi aggiunti erano arrivati alla qualità desiderata. Per cui il primo intorno a questo è stato dedicarsi al design della tazzina, e per questo è stato chiesto a Matteo Thun di disegnare una tazzina specifica per Illy. In quei tempi si stava lavorando molto con la pop art, e in particolare con Jim Rosenquist, che stava lavorando con noi per una nuova collezione, ed è nato questo quadro da cui poi è derivato il più bel logo che potessimo avere. In contemporanea sono nate le Illy Art Collection, da un'idea di Francesco Illy, un progetto che giungesse anche uno stimolo visivo a quello che era il momento dell'espresso. Quando beviamo un caffè spesso lo facciamo in modo spensierato, stiamo cercando di aggiungere valore a quel momento, sia da un punto di vista aromatico, e questa è la ricerca del prodotto caffè, sia da un punto di vista estetico, che è legato più al design che circonda la ritualità e all'arte contemporanea che ne decora le superfici. La prima Art Collection si può dire sia nata nel 92, sono state 2 collezioni che erano dedicate all'uso professionale, quindi venivano date ai baristi per essere usate nei loro bar. Ci siamo immediatamente accorti che queste tazzine nel tempo piano piano sparivano, per cui i consumatori se le portavano, diciamo, a casa. L'idea che è nata a suo tempo è che queste collection si potevano anche vendere. La prima collezione in vendita fu quella di Chia, artista della transavanguardia italiana, e fu immediatamente un grandissimo successo commerciale. La grande intuizione è stata quella di reinvestire il denaro raccolto attraverso la vendita delle tazzine in progetti a sostegno dell'arte contemporanea. Ad oggi gli artisti coinvolti nel progetto sono intorno al centinaio in 20 anni di attività. Qui abbiamo avuto Rauschenberg, Jeff Koons, Marina Abramovic, Julian Schnabel e i grandi italiani, Pistoletto, cercando proprio di cogliere quello che è lo spirito dell'arte contemporanea. Trasformare un momento normale in un momento speciale attraverso un espresso perfetto, una tazzina perfetta e un decoro disegnato da un grande maestro.
Normally, you put the cup in the lowest point, so it's kind of self-centering and you have a feeling that it's stable. I copied the idea of a volcano. He says, I'm the best. They do only one coffee. Lavazza, for example, is doing 12 different coffee qualities. So if Mr. Illy says, I'm premium, I'm the best, he should see it as high as possible. So I called it the Vesuvio effect. It's like sitting on top of a volcano. And why this? Because the way how you serve coffee can be very unfriendly, like zam, take your coffee. Like in Italy, in 20 seconds you have coffee. Or you are very polite, to look in the face of the person and say, please, this is your coffee. Again, I have to quote Ettore, who became quite angry when they asked him about design. He always, lifelong, refused to use the word and to accept that they called him a designer. I think as a teacher you are placing a crucial question. It's very, very important to place this question to every single student, and everybody should give his own answer. It's a very personalized profile you give on what you want to do in your life. I was teaching for 18 years at the University of Vienna. Several times Alberto Alessi came to teach, as well as Branzi came to teach, and I was fascinated how they could come closer to the single student profiles by simply explaining life experience. So it's more about understanding the complexity of life rather than understanding the complexity of production process. It's given that you should know how you fire porcelain and the difference between porcelain and ceramic. This is easy to learn. But the complexity of life, great teachers like Sottsass was, they always talked about life. That's how I met him at the UCLA in 1976. He gave a lecture not about his computer, but about his life experience. So my vision is apparently a bit negative, because whenever they ask me about design, I say, what are you talking about? September 11 was the end. Now we are in the next phase. And I'm quite convinced that September 11 was a global shock and was a kind of epitaphio. It's writing when somebody dies, you say, on September 11 design died forever and a new design started, which is much closer to human beings and is much more about necessary items, about surviving and not about consuming.